Hello and welcome to Vegas Aces. My name is Heather Ferris, and I got a special show for you guys today. I'm really excited about this. We have Christina Ellis with Ellis Island coming to talk about her experiences with the coronavirus and what has happened in the city, as well as Chris from Faces and Aces. Say hi, say hello, you guys.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
And if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that way you're always notified of our latest videos and live streams. Also, too, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we will get to them as we go along. So let's start off. First question of the night. What was your experience like of the coronavirus? Tell us what happened a couple days before, and then talk about your experiences with the coronavirus, the shutdown, everything being shut down, and what you guys are going through right now, as well as what you look forward to in the future when you open.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anybody that doesn't know, Ellis Island's located just a block off the strip. We've been around for 52 years now. We started as a small little pub and then started expanding over the years. And now we sit right off of Koval and Flamingo. We have a hotel, full casino, of course, multiple restaurants. We just opened a beer garden and we're also a brewery. So we make our own beer. So, all of this happening and coming to a head in about the middle of March. It was, I think, the 16th or 17th. We were getting ready for a bunch of different things. Of course, it was St. Patrick's Day weekend. We were about to go into March Madness, and March just being a really busy time for Las Vegas in general. So as we started getting, rumblings and following what was happening in other cities, and then again slowly getting questions from our guests and people who were, especially coming into town for the March Madness events, people started getting concerned. And then that kind of all came to a head when the city shut down on the 17th. So, of course, we wanted to, it's terrible to have to close our doors, but first and foremost, we wanted to think about the health and wellness of anybody who would enter the property and anybody who was working, all of our team members. So leading up to the actual closure, we had done precautions like, the recommended things from the state, like fewer seats at poker or at in the pit, and we installed hand sanitizer everywhere. All of our cocktail servers and employees were all, taking the normal precautions, as was, everybody in the town. Everybody was, trying to keep everybody safe who was visiting properties.
Yeah.
How many days was this before the governor shut down on the 17th?
How many days were
you putting these protocols into place before the governor shut down?
I think we probably had started 10 days to a week before, just kind of watching what other people were doing in town, communicating with, the people that we know and seeing what they do. And just kind of everybody was, such a period of like, this is nothing like this had ever happened before, right? So everybody was kind of, in those group threads of emails and just checking in with each other, like, what are you doing? What are we supposed to do? How do we keep everybody safe? And there was so many questions just about the virus in general and what could happen. So yeah.
There was a lot of uncertainty during that time. So I think it's really key that it was great that the different casinos in Vegas were communicating with each other for the benefit of their team members and guests. So that's fantastic. Y'all were doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we wanted to keep everybody safe. And so when we were told to close, of course, we said, okay, well, let's just see what we can do and try and get through this as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. So you actually have a number of different operations going on there. As you had mentioned, you talked about the gaming, you talked about the dining, you talked about the brewery. Has pretty much every aspect of the company ceased operations for the time being?
So we have a number of different things that fall under the Ellis Island bubble. So we have Ellis Island, the property, which, yes, is completely closed right now. We have all of our village pubs, which are closed as well. We have the Mount Charleston Lodge, which closed, was open for takeout for, as soon as everything closed, there were so many people that were wanting to get outdoors and go. So we were doing to-go food out of the lodge, but that has since closed as well, just to encourage people to stay home. And then something that a lot of people probably don't know about our brands is that we have a brewery in St. George, Utah. And so the restrictions in Utah are slightly different than we have here in Vegas. So what we've done up there is we have an on-site store so people can come and buy beer, but we also have changed a lot of our distribution up there, because it's also a licensed distillery, to make hand sanitizer. So we've been doing hand sanitizer up there, which is for sale. And then we've also been bringing batches of it down to Vegas to donate to Metro and to St. Rose, and really just helping anywhere that we can. So
That's
if
awesome.
I wanted some of this beer, or if I wanted some hand sanitizer, where would I go to get this?
So the website is St. George Bev or sgbev.com. And I'll send you a link so you can link it.
That sounds
cool.
good. Yeah, because I really need some hand sanitizer, and I can't find any in town. It's so hard to find.
I know.
Wow.
It's like gold. So we really saw that, this is something that people needed, and we had the infrastructure and the facility to make it. So we dived right in.
Wow. How hard was it to make that transition?
That's a great question that I would love to ask one of our brewers. I mean, I know we were able to turn it pretty quickly because we have a large warehouse. And so the beer that we were making in there wasn't using all of the facility. So we had some extra room where we could go in pretty quickly and make the sanitizer.
Okay.
So that was leading up to it. Was there any events going on? Was there any promotions? Was there anything like that you were expecting, hey, in the next week, this is going to happen and we're really looking forward to it, and then the coronavirus hit? Anything else leading up?
I mean, of course, the big thing for the whole town was it happening right before March Madness weekend. We had everything in play, and it was our first year that we were going to do it in the beer garden. So of course we were really excited about that. And then as it was kind of, okay, we aren't going to end up having this event where it's going to be, tons of people crammed into a beer garden space really close together for hours on end. We just, wanted to make sure we refunded everybody as quickly as we could and answered everybody's questions. And I think that was, of course, like the hardest thing to see. And then, of course, this new beer garden that we have is first and foremost like an event space. So all of those events that we had future planned are what we'll have to adapt once we can reopen. But also to, try and salvage as many of those events as we possibly can going forward.
How long does it take to prepare for an event like March Madness?
I mean, our tickets go on sale at the end of the year, and then we're pushing it off from, Christmas till the middle of March.
So you guys are probably preparing in August for it, or September, somewhere around there?
Yeah, we try and get everything, scheduled out as early as possible. So yeah, I mean, it does take a lot of planning. Luckily, it's easier to, it takes less time to get everybody refunded and unplan an event than it does to plan an event. But yeah, it is what it is at this point. And everybody else in town had to do the same thing. So, we're all feel each other's pain.
I'm looking in the comments, and I have Wild Foodie Tours saying, been waiting to visit Ellis Island. Can't wait to learn more. Which kind of brings up something that I've been dying to talk to you about, which is, now you had been referring to the beer garden. I'm assuming that's the same as the front yard.
Yes, right. The front yard.
Most the common name that people are familiar with is the front yard. And you did something that was so spectacular that traces back to almost, I would say, a conversation you and I had about 2 years ago, where we jokingly had talked about creating a menu item for a podcast friend. And he goes by Vegas Bun Boy on Twitter. And it started as a joke, and Chris over at Vegas Bun Boy, I believe it's now I'm drawing a blank. When you put on pressure, when you're on the spot, you forget things.
Live stream. You'll get used to it.
But you actually created a menu item for him called the Vegas Bun Boy, and I want to thank you for that, because that brought me so much delight to see it actually show up on the menu.
Oh, yes, of course. We were happy to do it. It was, a long time coming. Love following through on a joke. So hopefully we can all enjoy one sometime very soon in the front yard.
Yeah. But I think it also speaks a lot to your dedication, not just to the Vegas community, but also to the podcast, the Vegas enthusiasts, the people who like to come there. That little piece of recognition was just really spectacular. And I want to, again, thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's the podcast community has been so nice to us and has really kept us as part of the conversation. So it was the least I could do.
Yeah. Although I guess technically it would be what the social media community, or I guess the live stream
the
community,
Twitter community, the whole thing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we get into COVID-19?
I don't know. Are there any questions that I can answer on the side? I mean,
so far we're doing good on questions. If you guys are out there, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments and we will ask them. Go for it. So my question is, oh my God, that must have been crazy. COVID-19, the governor appears on TV, shuts down the entire state. What was that day like for you?
It was, of course, very stressful, very unprecedented. Everything was kind of up in the air. Everybody was very uncertain of what would happen, how long will this last, and I guess we're still kind of sitting in that period of unknown. So yeah, it was kind of like going in the next morning and seeing the completely empty casino was obviously very surreal. And yeah, just hopefully something that is a once in a lifetime not to experience again, because it was a very uncertain and kind of a scary time.
Were you ever scared for yourself or your family, because you guys are being in a casino, you're around so many people every single day, Yeah.
Really that wasn't top of mind, I guess. Of course we were taking the precautions and keeping our distance and washing our hands and trying not to have as many face-to-face handshaking conversations as we normally would leading up to the closure of the casino. But yeah, we just wanted to get everything situated and make sure that our team had their questions answered, that our customers had their questions answered, and that we could do everything that we were supposed to do.
And you talked a little bit about it earlier, but we didn't really go into it. What were some of the measures you were taking right before you closed?
Yeah, again, it was a lot of the regulations that the state had outlined, like fewer tables at blackjack, or fewer seats at blackjack tables, fewer seats in the restaurant. We had, we were situating people where they weren't sitting close together, 2 tables together, but, a table in between guests. We had installed hand sanitizer around the casino. We had just extra cocktail servers picking up glasses and making sure that there weren't, anywhere that you could find germs, or, we wiping down the machines an extra amount. So just those little things. And really the time in between when those people started implementing those measures and the time when the city was, shut down it was a very small window. So, we were doing everything that we could, but of course it was oh, okay, then I guess we are, we're closed. So.
Do you remember the moment you got the news that the casino, the hotel casino would need to shut down?
Yeah, we all sat and watched the press conference together.
Were you expecting it, or was it just?
I had been following what was happening in California and other places in the country, so it wasn't a complete shock, just because it seemed like other people were taking similar measures in other states. But hearing it said and it becoming a reality was a little bit jarring, a little bit shocking.
Yeah, that's interesting that you learned along with the rest of us. There wasn't any kind of press bulletin that the governor's office released to the casinos or anything?
No, there were some rumors, and as part of my job watching Twitter and being on Twitter, I heard a lot of the rumblings of what was to come. But the announcement, we heard at the same time everybody else did.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow, you would think that he would want to give the casinos a heads up, since casinos being the biggest employer in the state.
Yeah, and I'm sure, we are relatively small, compared to our neighbors just seated on the strip. So, who's to say what they heard before us? But, when you're dealing with 300 people versus thousands of people, can't really
Yeah.
hold those to the same regard. So.
Did you get any guidance at all from the state on closing or what to do when you reopen, or anything from the Nevada Gaming Control Board or any type of authority?
So there were documents leading up to the closure, not, specifically calling out the closure, but again, with those guidelines on how to adjust the gaming floor and things of that nature. And then over the past week or so, we have been getting more information just from what other casinos are doing when they reopen. And I'm sure that those documents will continue to be released as we get closer to opening.
So it's basically casinos learning from other casinos. That's typical, actually, in the casino industry. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions, Chris, before we go to some viewer questions?
You know what? I see one viewer question in particular that I had the
Which
same
one?
question, so we might as well tackle it from Mr. Chad.
Mr. Chad, what measure do you expect?
Yeah. So what things do you expect to be in place when you reopen? And if this is something that you can't discuss right now, we get it. But I was curious, there's been, a good 5-6 weeks of downtime. Mm-hmm. I'm sure plenty of brainstorming sessions have happened. What can we look forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. It seems at least when the first reopenings happen, and of course this is all speculation based off of what I've read and what we've discussed, but we'll take any of the measures that gaming suggests, or that it's mandatory that we implement, and then also anything that it's such an unknown time and such an unknown thing. Like if we do end up opening and then we identify, okay, too many people are congregating in this area, let's adapt. And that's, one of the benefits of Ellis Island is we do have a very small but very dedicated management team, so we'll be able to adapt and make those changes rather quickly. But what I'm anticipating when we do start reopening is really a period of time that was much like the time before we closed. So with the fewer seats and with just being mindful of where people are congregating, mindful of, when large groups of people are happening, probably we're not going to open with like a grand opening giant event, I would assume, just trying to keep people safe like we were trying to do before everything closed.
Is that something that the security guard is going to try to be the one to enforce, or is that something that all employees are going to be made aware of and they all need to do what they can to help out?
Yeah, I don't think anything like that could work unless the whole team is on board and everybody's watching it, because, a person can only, one group of people like our security team can only be in so many places at once. And so as long, it's something everybody would have to be mindful of.
Good point.
What about changes to gaming in terms of cleanliness? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, again, it would be, extra people going around and cleaning the machines and things like that. I'm anticipating the gaming industry in general will change with maybe products that are more, built specifically to clean, things that we don't even know exist yet, I guess. This is one thing about experiences like this is a lot of people come out of it with great ideas. So it'll be interesting to see how that will change gaming as a whole.
I was actually at a local casino here in California shortly before the shutdown, maybe 3 weeks before everything shut down, and things were, people were nervous, and the cleaning staff was just right on everything. The place was packed, by the way, shoulder to shoulder, and most of the slot machines were full. But as soon as someone vacated a slot machine, you saw someone come in right away, wipe it down for the next person. I thought that was, wow, they're really on top of it. Hear me out. I'm sorry.
When you're done, I have something to say. Go for it.
Because I do got to pitch this silly idea. So, games are going to have to change a little bit because of the cleanliness, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of passing dice around a craps table, okay, go with me here. What if we get a bounce house and we get a hot chick in a bikini inside the bounce house? And we put big inflatable dice in there with her, and she just jumps around and the dice bounce around. And at a certain point, she stops, and whatever the dice land on, that'll be the craps roll. It'll be like a life-size bubble craps.
I second that.
We might have to reconfigure the pit, but I'll look into that.
You are the person to make things happen. You put a Vegas Bud Boy hot dog on the menu. So I'm just giving you another home run idea to run with. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I wanted to, real quick, I wanted to talk about some of the policies you were talking about. So there are some casinos out there where they are going to have wipes right next to the slot machine, and they're going to have the players wipe down the machine before and after they play. There were some executives that were saying that they can't physically wipe down all of the machines after and before all of the players. It's just physically impossible. So what they're going to do is they're going to rely on the players to help out, and they're just going to have the wipes located at every slot machine to help out with that. And then as far as craps go, the dealer is going to sanitize the dice in between each shooter. So once the shooter's done, they'll bring the dice in, they'll sanitize it, it'll go out to the next player. So that's just a couple things that casinos are going to be doing after this.
Or I imagine they would just have an already sanitized new set of dice just sitting there waiting in the wings. Or is it superstitious? Well, is it superstitious to pass the same set of dice? I'm not a big craps player, so I don't know. Like, is that a thing?
Well, usually what it is you'll have a set of dice. There will be a new set of dice entered into the I can talk, I swear. Entered into the game once every 8 hours. So every shift change, they get a new pair of dice. Unless, of course, something happens where you think it was gaffed, or they think, something was happened to the dice that altered them or changed them, then they might change them out. But otherwise, it's once per shift.
Oh, because I thought there were, now correct me if I'm wrong, again, not a huge craps player, but I thought there were like 5 dice that they have. Yep. The croupier picks 2, pushes them out to a player. So the other 3 that are sitting there waiting in the wings, can't those just be sanitized, waiting for the next shooter?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Save a little time.
Those will be sanitized. And then once the shooter's done with the 2 dice, those 2 dice will be sanitized and put into the dice bowl with the other 3 dice. And then the shooter will pick the next dice. So whatever 2 that he pick, the rest come out, put in the dice bowl. They're already sanitized. Nobody touched them. Yeah. So they'll just keep doing it that way.
Man, we're looking for, it's going to be really interesting when everything reopens. I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to see how it all plays out.
Yeah. Well, Vegas Aces we might be doing some of the training for some of the policies and procedures for casinos. So there's some things I could talk about, but that would take up the whole hour. And we are here to interview Christina. So let's ask Christina a couple questions. Alfredo, I always get your name wrong. I love you, dude. I'm sorry. I always get your name wrong. Alfredo says, is there a date in mind for when you're going to reopen? So what do you know about that?
Unfortunately, we don't have a date. We do, there's rumblings of people starting to open it seems like every day I hear a different date. So we're going to, obviously follow what the town does as soon as we can open and feel comfortable doing so. We'd like to, but we don't want to jump the gun. So yeah, I wish I had a date just as much as you wish I had a date, but I don't.
No worries. And then I don't know if you know anything about this. Alfredo says, what about wearing gloves? So I know dealers aren't going to be wearing gloves, but are other employees going to be wearing gloves?
We did at one point have some of the cocktail servers wearing gloves. It is protocol in the kitchen for any of the expediters to wear gloves already, so that wouldn't be much of a change. So, I mean, if they tell us to wear gloves, then we'll get a lot of gloves, and that's what we'll do.
Okay. And
I mean, I had heard that face masks for everybody, guests and employees, were going to be a mandate from the state. I thought it was a golden opportunity to get your logo, Ellis Island, on a face mask. So when people leave the property and travel the strip, they just got, promotion for you everywhere they go.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's interesting too, just during this downtime, you get all of the emails from vendors, and that's just a great way to see, you know, what are other people looking to buy during this time. Of course, face masks, hand sanitizer, stylists for machines and things like that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as well as something else that was brought up last week when we did the show, the challenge of how do you drink at the gaming table if you have a face mask? Is that something that's been discussed?
That is not something that we discussed. I also recently saw there was somebody who was famous who was smoking with their face mask on. So yeah, those are two things that I guess people. I mean, the casinos have to figure them out, I guess, but people themselves have to figure it out too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, did either of you happen to see the video that was posted? And I think it was from a casino in Mississippi, I want to say. I could be totally wrong about that. But there was a video where they had created glass partitions at the blackjack table. So now a table will seat 4 people. And there's a big curved partition between the dealer and the player, as well as partitions between the players.
I did just see that today, I think. Somebody posted it.
Yeah, making the rounds of social media today. I was wondering what either of you thought about that.
And it had something open in the bottom so they could hand the cards out and take the chips and all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Huh.
mean, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm really scratching my head about it. Personally, it's weird because I'm not against it. I'm totally cool with it. But the backlash on Twitter specifically seemed to be mostly negative comments. I can't put my finger on why. You know, I'm thinking maybe it's because of the social aspect of the game. There's the joking around between players. The partitions between players ends that a little bit.
Also, too, one of the people that we were interviewing was saying those plastic partitions, it might make you feel better than actually doing something. And the reason why is because now you have an extra surface that people can't touch that you have to clean both back and forward.
Yeah.
You know, both sides. So it might not be as helpful as some people are saying that it is. And that's just something that we should be looking into.
Right. Because of, say, someone before you had the COVID and coughs all over the glass, and then you come right up after that player in that same space. It's kind of lingering there on the surface. So that's a really good point.
And what if you trip? What if you fall? What if you bang your head against the glass? I mean, these people, some of them are drunk. They can't, walk straight. So
what? In Vegas? I've never heard of such a thing in Vegas.
What are your thoughts, Christina?
I mean, I'm just thinking, talk about that completely changing the look of a casino floor as well, and I don't know. I mean, of course, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But yeah, that just seems like such an interesting, it's like a sneeze guard at a buffet, right? Yeah.
Which, by the way, no more buffets.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions before we go to viewer questions, Chris?
Oh, no, go ahead. Let's go to viewer questions. Let's give them a chance to jump in.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Jim had a question. All the cleaning will cost money, and won't that cost be passed on to the gamblers? Will it be passed on with tighter odds or some other way? If not, how are you going to be able to make a profit?
I mean, of course, the extra precautionary measures will have a price tag associated with them, but it's not our intention to. I mean, we're gonna have to make it work no matter what, and we don't want to change what we've always done, which is create a place where people want to gamble and win and have fun. So, it wouldn't behoove us to make our odds so tight that nobody wants to gamble just so we can, save a buck. Or
are you going to make your odds looser to try to bring people there as a way to promote?
I mean, we will be doing a ton of promotion once we can open up again. We've discussed everything from, adjusting our player incentives to just having, more reason for people to come and visit the casino.
Cool. As if the brewery wasn't enough reason. And this is, I know I'm sounding a little bit like a whore for the casino, but this is something I don't say it unless I actually firmly believe in it. But the beer there is spectacular. The new brews that you guys got going on there, like beforehand, I'll be honest, they were okay. But the new brews that Mike put together, spectacular. Mike and Eddie did a fantastic job.
They are awesome. We're very lucky to have them. And one of my favorite things to go back to the front yard is we have normally a list of 5 or 6 beers that are our full-time beers, your standard light, hef, IPA. But we have 7 brews that are all specialty beers that are only available in the front yard, and they are amazing.
Oh,
cool.
So, yeah.
So our next question is from Mills, and he says, have you thought about doing a chipless way to play at table games? And I know that some casinos have been talking about this, either doing it with their Apple Pay with the phone or some other digital way. Have you thought about doing that, or even accepting credit or debit cards?
I mean, all the options you listed, of course, are things that we've heard of, kind of coming up in the industry, as well as the digital table games, where it is chipless. There's less of an interaction with you at the dealer. There's less of an interaction with you and chips. So those are all things that we have been looking at, and we're just trying to weigh our options and see what people want when they come to the casino floor. What can we do? What do we have space for? We're a small casino, so things like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people who are going to be coming back to Vegas, we love the town, we love the gaming, and things are going to change. And that's something we have to be, as tourists, ready for. And if those changes may be temporary, those changes might last a while, but ultimately they are in the name of safety. So if things do go chipless, then that, for example, they have the video blackjack with the virtual dealer, or you have bubble craps, those are chipless. And if there's a way to create some sort of, which I'm sure the companies are working on, some sort of hybrid version of that, where you have a full craps table, but it's a digital betting system, or a full blackjack table, digital betting system. These are things that I'm sure companies are now looking into.
They're
in the age.
there. It's already in the casinos.
Oh,
so stadiums have become really popular, and
right.
You have one dealer dealing the game, and you have multiple cameras on the game, and then you have a lot of seats that are electronic. Everything's electronic. They just have to wipe down the screens, and there is enough distance in between seats that you could do social distancing from there. So they are talking about doing something like that with stadiums.
I'm not a fan of the stadium gaming, to be honest, because I don't know. It just doesn't catch on with me.
Well, the whole point of table games is the interaction between the dealer and the players. You don't get that with the stadium.
True. Yeah. Someone made a great comment where he said, I go to the blackjack table and the blackjack dealer is kind of like my bartender. I get to chat with him and talk about what happened this past week. This is a local talking, and he's friends with the dealer. And now that, there's a partition and things become a little bit more divided, he's a little scared that he's going to lose that. And I understand where he's coming from.
I am totally looking for that comment. I swear, as soon as I find it, I'll put it up there.
Because dealers are much cheaper than therapists. So, but then again,
yeah, and people treat us like therapists.
Then again, I guess it depends on how much you're tipping. In that case,
I guess it depends on how good you are.
Let's see. Okay, I totally lost what I was doing here because I was looking for that comment. Give me 1 second.
I saw the comment on Twitter, actually. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
I'm sitting here looking for a comment that doesn't exist. No wonder why I can't find it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, well, this comment is a little bit funny. We don't really have to comment on it, but it was just amusing, so I thought I'd put it up there. Another thing, we have a lot of comments. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments. We will get to you. So By Kemba is asking, I wonder if traffic will slow down even more in Vegas, especially since many people in nearby California have so many Indian-based casinos here. Well, not just that, too. If they're on lockdown or if they're on shutdown, if we open up and everyone else is on lockdown, what's that going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And will people travel here after this?
I think it depends on the motivation for your trip. Are you looking to do some gaming, or are you looking to take a vacation? You could go to the local casinos here in California. However, pretty much all they're going to offer is, I guess, a pool if you're staying at the hotel and some gaming. But if you go to Nevada, you have so many different options, whether it be food, sightseeing, it's a million things that you could do on the Strip. So California gaming might take a little bit in the beginning, but I think ultimately a lot of people who are here in California, myself included, I'm just itching to get out of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking to cross that California-Nevada border the second it opens back up.
The question too, real quick, switching topics, that I was looking at, Alan said, do you think casinos will go online for people who do not live in Nevada so that way they could play games? I know there's a lot of casinos out there where they have the live dealer casinos, and the dealers there, they're actually dealing the game. It's like my live streams, basically, my live stream tournaments for those of you who are watching. Do you think casinos are going to start doing something like that?
You do see a rise in those kind of more brick and mortar casino based online games, and I think that, of course, as more people are, if people are more hesitant to go out and looking for something to do and still wanting to make a connection with a brand they're already loyal to, I could see a lot of casinos moving more online. I mean, I wouldn't say moving 100% online. I don't think that it would completely replace the experience of going into a casino and sitting down at a machine, or sitting down at a blackjack table. But as an added component to the overall experience, I could absolutely see that.
Okay. And as we wrap it up here, how are you doing at home, like quarantined and everything? Are you staying at home? Do you go to Ellis Island and do like some work, or are you staying at home playing board games?
I am trying to stay home as much as possible. I am hoping to, haven't been to Ellis Island except for a couple days after we shown. I am hoping to go up one day in the next couple of weeks, mostly to clear my office, but working in marketing, the majority of everything I can do on my computer. So trying to stay at home as I can without going crazy. And I do, live close to my sisters and live close to my family. So, trying to see them if I can. We're all, made the pact to quarantine all together. So.
Can I pitch another idea?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Christina. I pitch you all my crazy ideas.
No, okay. Please. Let's see what sticks.
So Heather does the online dealing, right? Basically creates Zoom parties or online parties where people can, join in and create a community and spend a little time during this downtime. Well, I thought it would be great if a casino, and I don't know if there is a regulation against it or what, but I still haven't found a casino hosting one of these online gaming parties. Again, it's not for money, it's for fun, but to create that party vibe and just to keep the name of your casino in the minds of, all of us who are itching to get back to Vegas. Has that been considered? Is that something you could do? And maybe do one Zoom camera on a go-go dancer, create a party pit, create a nice fun atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any regulation against that, but it does sound like a fun idea, and of course a way to interact with the brand.
Oh, we're losing you.
Me? No, we are losing her. Could you say that again one more time, please? You sort of froze. Can you say that?
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying. Sorry. I think that's. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you keep freezing. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. I think that's a really fun idea and a great way to keep interacting with people that love the brand, even when they be interacting with people one-on-one. So I'm not sure regulation wise if there's anything there, but I'll see if I can make that happen.
Okay. Yeah, your connection does seem to be going. So let's start wrapping this up. We're almost at an hour anyway. Last question. What do you look forward to when you open? And what are some of the things you're starting to prepare for when you do open?
Oh, I think that the thing I'm most excited for is...
Oh, we lost her.
Oh, where'd you go?
I knew the internet connection was bad. Just a second.
Yeah.
Well, we totally lost her.
I'll DM her real quick. But
okay, cool. I'll keep an eye out for her.
Okay.
So that way we can add her in.
I do wonder. It's interesting. Actually, she'll probably try to log back in a second. But it is interesting the type of offerings that the different casinos are putting out there during this time when everybody's at home. I think a couple of restaurants in Vegas were doing some cooking lessons. I think the chef at Esther's Kitchen was doing that.
Yeah. Some of the entertainers. Oh, we got Christina back.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what happened, but I think it's fixed now.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Awesome. Very cool. So yeah, the question was, what are you looking forward to when you reopen, and what are some of the things you're preparing for?
Yeah, we had just opened the beer garden when this all happened. So definitely looking forward to, the initial opening, whether it's like, a slow or just like, planning for that appropriately, but then forecasting and seeing how we can get people back in the space and go back to having events and go back to, of course, as safely as possible. But yeah, getting people back in that venue will be very fun. And then also I just, the normal routine of going into work and working on projects and things like that. It's completely like all the routine and schedule of my day is completely gone. So I'm excited to get that back soon.
Cool. Well, is there anything that you want to promote? Any social media links? Anything you want to get, the word out for people who are listening?
Yes, of course. The best way to get updates about all things Ellis Island, and I've been very bad about tweeting during this pandemic, but I plan on going back to it. But at Ellis Casino LV is how you can find Ellis. And then if you want to find me, it's Christina Ellis, but with 2 C's at the beginning. So,
but you're the one that does the Twitter for Ellis Island.
I do. I run our Twitter.
So
it's
cool.
My favorite part of my job. Yeah.
That is so awesome. Do you have like certain days you do certain things? Do you do fun stuff on there?
It's a combination. It really just depends. We between that and our Instagram's really fun too. We'll do a lot of contests on there and a lot of like good throwback content and things. So yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, I love that. Anything else you want to promote?
I mean, just come see me next time you're in Vegas. I'm always at Ellis Island, so I'll be there. Don't be shy. Just come up and stop me and say hello.
Cool. Well, I hope we could have you back on again. It was awesome talking with you.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Chris, is there anything before we get going? Anything else that you want to ask or add or anything?
No, I think we're good. I mean, there will be something that I'm dying to ask Christina off the air. But,
great.
Yeah, I'm dying to know the answer, but we can't do it on the air. So yeah.
Wait, I got another idea. Okay, what do you think about this?
Okay, all right. What do we got?
No, I'm making fun of you. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I actually do have a giant list of goofy, crazy ideas that I would love to see happen in Vegas, but I just don't think, like oversized gaming. I would love for them to paint a giant parking lot like a craps table and throw huge inflatable dice off the parking structure and let that be the craps rule. But these things probably won't happen.
Oh, I love it.
I have some ideas. We'll talk more. We'll have your people get in touch with my people, and we'll make something happen.
What's that about me?
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Our next live stream is on Thursday, where we are going to be doing a high card flush tournament. So please join us. It'll be a lot of fun. Remember, these videos are supported by viewers like you. Donations make these videos happen. So if you think this video is worth more than $0, please donate the amount you feel it's worth by clicking the link on the description below. Okay, you guys, we'll see you again. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It's been a blast, and have a good one.
Be safe.
Bye, guys.